Okay, so I did go on TikTok this morning. I was like, I was going to see. But before I went on there, I was going to talk about these movies that I had watched. I watched this true story of, oh, I can't remember. It's new on Hulu. I'm sure it's Lifetime. But a true story of a murder that was sensationalized. You know, the woman cuts up her husband and puts him in suitcases. And so anyways, when I was watching that, I had all sorts of things and thoughts about that with relationships and, you know, how our system works. When the DA and stuff was, this woman was trying to tell more about this lady and she didn't care. The DA, they just have, like, they just want to pat themselves. There was so much I saw about in the system. And right before that, I had just watched some other movie called Frank versus God. And it was this lawyer. So it was another legal one, and which was showing me a bunch of legal stuff. And insurance stuff. Because there was a tornado and his house was totally destroyed. So he went in to get the insurance money. And then they told him that it was an act of God. So there was no money available. Which, you know, so many people are getting that right now. And so he, being a lawyer and stuff, and already had suffered a lot of loss. And then his dog was in the house. Which, that whole scene about the dog thing is like what I go through all the time. When I think about leaving, even when my daughter was like, well, just come over for the weekend while I'm sick and take care of me and have the neighbor feed stuff. I was like, oh my God, just what happened with that guy. You know, all of a sudden something comes in and he's rushing, trying to get back there. And so he was already had so much trauma and, you know, and then the insurance company said that. So then he decides to sue God. And so the whole thing is about, you know, God and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff in that. And then, but also with the judicial, you know, and judge's motivation. And the judge even has a handler. Like there's handlers everywhere. These people who want to run for office and stuff immediately there's certain people that are put into the system in certain jobs. You got to remember. So people they think a handler. Well, yeah, they're all got handlers. They can call them managers. They can call them assistants. They can call them whatever the hell. And so anyways, so there was a bunch of stuff in those. And I was like, that was kind of going with other things I'd been seeing and talking about and stuff. And then, this morning when I went on TikTok, then it was like, oh my gosh, there's just like too many other things. I was like bawling my head off already this morning. Where it was like, oh my God, so much fucking tragedy. Like I even got to stay off of it again for a while. Man, like, this one. You know, this is where people are losing their minds, you know, this mind control or whatever is going on. Like, and they're using all sorts of different things, you know, medicines and stuff. Like, there's so much going on that you can't just be specific because there's way too much. Like, this mom who just did this, it could be a number of different things. Like going to her doctor and them giving her a certain thing. And then those chemicals, you know, like it's not by accident that certain things are pushed in certain places. Certain drugs and stuff are pushed in certain places that also interact with other chemicals. And who knows if we're going to see more of this, and maybe there's more going on about it. Maybe there's more people doing it and we're just not hearing. Because they're definitely covering up so much stuff. They're not telling all of the horrible stuff going on there. The news is only telling the stuff that they want to tell. They're not telling what's happening in the world. And so, but this was a news clip that I saw this. And then, you know, but they want to push tragedy. And I couldn't watch it past where it was saying, the baby was screaming. I was like, fuck, no. But a new mom with a 3-month-old just sawed it. super young. They said she just was standing there like a zombie, like didn't like, it is like that. That is what they want to do, is animate the bodies, use the energy, use the consciousness, but be in control. And yeah, look at how you can be in control if somebody can do that to their own flesh and blood. And they've got that all over this world. But then, you know, I always have this whole thing where the souls come in to experience these different things. And this stuff isn't happening by accident. You know, and this morning I was just like, man, it's like I came from a video game where everything's all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies, where everybody loves everybody and treats everybody with respect. Coming into this video game is hell. Like, it's hellacious. People treat each other so horrible. They play out every horrible, monstrous thing in this this realm where we're at right now. It's really so so tragic, man. And it's hard to not have the empathy to the circumstance when you're in the game playing the part, when you're in the avatar, you know, like. And that is one of the things I heard this other lady talking about today. That this, see, I don't know that, like I heard a few different people saying some stuff. And they're saying some stuff that I said, but some of the stuff is, because this woman was like, you know, it's empathy and compassion. But she was like, that there's certain souls that came in with that. And so those souls that are able to get their love and compassion and empathy, and those will be the ones going into the age of Aquarius. And so it's going to be limited numbers. She's saying it's going to be very small numbers going in. And that it is, you know, so to me, when I'm sitting there listening, I was like, there were some things I agreed with, but then there was some things that it was like, I know that there's a whole part to teaching and healing and stuff. There's way, way too many of us that are here as teachers and healers and stuff. There's just way too many. And we still got to go through that whole part. So, you know, everybody, there's a lot of people who base stuff on like it's all going to go down right now. But if you're a spiritual person and you're looking at this, you know, as a set plan, so in the age of Aquarius, where we're all going to go, all of us healers, we're all going to go in there together and we're all just going to stand around healing each other. Who are we going to be healing? We all have this need inside of us. Like, we need to help people. We need to help people. We need to teach people. We need to help people understand what this place is. Help them to become their best selves. And so, you know, we still have that to go through as far as I'm concerned. And that is what we're in this process of. And, you know, I saw more stuff about the magnetic thing and that thing getting closer. I've seen a lot of footage with these weird clouds, and you can see under the clouds these things that look like spaceships lighting up. Like a lot of people getting footage like that. And so it does seem like we're totally surrounded for sure. And is that like a protection? Is it a communication? Is it, you know, that they're always there, but we just had no awareness? You know, I don't know. It is really clear that the government is totally lying about the cataclysm that's coming. And, you know, is it because they don't want to create fear? Is it because they know there's nothing they can do, so why not just profit off of it? You know, I'm not sure. You know, why? I think so many of them, though, they're all going down. So whatever their plan was, what they were doing. But there's a lot of people who still think they're in the process of doing it. Like all the rich people are going in bunkers underground and they're building a whole city down there. A lot of people think that. I don't know. I had heard from other people that, I think it was on Cosmic Disclosure or something, that there's a group of inner earth people that say they're from the past, that say so there probably is a certain sect of people who did go underground and, you know, and they will develop into some sort of society, you know, but that's a completely separate realm, a completely separate reality that is created. It's separate from us. Like, it's not our experience. The experience is the experiencer, is the reality, is the realm that you are here to experience. So all the other stuff going on doesn't, you know, like the inner earth beings and, you know, even all the stuff on the outside of the ice wall and all of that stuff, it is all different realms. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with this realm. Like, there's, this one guy, he was talking about, this is another one of the, I don't even know. There's all sorts of categories or something of spiritual people or enlightened people. I don't even know. But he was talking about that, it's not, what was his thing? It's the, something with the earth, but he started saying something about the elementals, and I don't know, it's like all these people just get these other ideas or put together all these different things to create their stories. So I can't say their story is right or wrong. Like I've said all along, what I've been told and shown is we all understand to the level of our understanding, and there's no way to know, you know, like what level's what. You just have to be in the flow of expansion. And then your own thoughts and reality will continue to expand. But there isn't, like we try and make things too structured and too set. And it isn't, you know, we have to be way more open to the all that is. But so, you know, when I hear some of the people saying stuff, just like the one woman, when she was talking about, I think she was saying the angels are guarding the ice wall, which I don't know if she still says that or whatever, because that is, you know, could be how she perceives, you know, the energy that it surrounds us, and she perceives it as angels at that time. But then something else expands her reality understanding more, which makes her see it in a more expansive way. But, you know, I mean, but she could see it, you know, it was just, so anyways, when I hear some of the people say stuff, I don't necessarily agree with them. But some of the things that they'll say, I'll be like, oh yeah, I agree with that. But then they'll say some other stuff, and so usually I just don't even listen. And it's like, so I can get like a part of their story. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there with a lot of different stories. Like anybody who is in search of information, there's so many people out there that are giving their information and stuff. I saw this really cool thing too. This woman was a hairdresser, and she just said that she's just been being slammed over the last couple of weeks, and she forgot to write down an appointment. And so then in her, the owner calls and says, you got a person here. And she's like, oh my God, I forgot, blah, blah, blah. And so she's rushing to get there. She tells the woman she'll be there in a half hour. Go do some shopping. I'll be right there. And so while she's driving and stuff, she said she's praying, oh, please, God, you know, let this woman show me grace. Let her be understanding. And, you know, bless my chair, you know, because, you know, you go and you're already tense. Like, you don't want to go into a situation, somebody's messing with your hair that's raggedy. Like, you know, you want them to be calm. So she was doing a good thing, you know, calming herself down on the way and speaking, you know, what she wanted to manifest into existence and set her intentions. And so when she did that and she got there, and the woman came walking in, and she said, oh, I got to tell you, God just told me as I was coming that I make sure and show you grace and understanding. She said the exact same words the woman said. That, and the woman who said it knew that God had just told her, because she had the awareness of the voices in her head. And so that is what I keep on saying. We are so connected in this telepathic community of the, you know, the oversoul and the universal consciousness. And so there is so much communication going on. And I just thought that was a really, really cool story. But the one that has just really gotten me, I think there's a few. Like, one thing is that I saw a guy in Alaska, and he was saying their temperature is so crazy. He said there's a 90-degree window space. He said they have places right now that are below 45, and then places that are 45. He said their weather is so crazy, and it's just doesn't make any sense like everybody else's. And which I think is partly, one of the videos I saw was talking about the magnetic fear thing or whatever, and that was causing a lot of the disasters too. So, you know, with the disasters, and on top of it with their manipulation, and then using the water coming from the sky and stuff as a vehicle to carry certain parasites and stuff like that. And I had just seen too, Arden is out there just going with the venom thing. I've had to smoke a couple cigarettes, which I'm telling you, smoking weed is so gentle. Smoking a cigarette is like, oh my God. And the smoking a cigarette makes me so lightheaded. It makes me feel like I'm on drugs. Like, oh my God, what is in these things? It does help with the electrical shocks though. Like, the electrical shocks in my body are so crazy. And it's got to be what is in the water. And when I was talking about that other thing, so he's also now coming out and saying that there's some snails. And they are completely so deadly, and that you just need a little spritz in the face, a little spray. They've turned it aerosol. They did that in 2012. And it will just give you immediate heart attack and stuff. See, so you release that in the news. You release something to make that happen. But then you can just walk around through a park passing people. Spritz, 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 spritz them everywhere you go. And then nobody's going to question a damn thing, are they? Because they've already put it out there. It's sudden. We don't even know what's going on. It's just sudden. So, you know, and there was another thing that had come into my head when I was talking about that one. There was some more storm stuff about the storm. The guy in Alaska said the storm that they're having is heading down here. And then, oh, that's what the guy who was talking about the elementals was talking about over here where I'm at, with the just nonstop raining and wind and stuff. And he was saying that that's the elementals helping the earth clear itself, because the earth is trying to cleanse itself to prepare for, you know, it's cleaning itself up. So, you know, that's that person's perception of how things are going. But what was the other thing about, well, you know, smoking a cigarette, I'll tell you, it makes me so lightheaded, and it really hurts my lungs. But I'm on my second one. I smoked one. I think I started it 2 days ago. Smoked like half. Then I smoked a lot of it yesterday because my body was hurting so bad. And Stella was up all night. She was keeping me up. My the electrical shocks in my body was keeping me. Oh my God, it hurt so bad. And so I got up and smoked a cigarette this morning, which did help. But you know, I just know that they have got stuff in there. And there, I guess there's even been some guys that have beards who there's been stuff coming out of their live stuff coming out. People see all sorts of stuff. And it's because they're putting it in us. Oh, man, this is so fucking hard to watch. So hard to watch when you know, and then you're watching people be so confused. Oh, it's fucked. But there was some more things. Hopefully that other thing will come back to me, because was something I wanted to say. But the thing that was really, really getting me was so in Oklahoma, this one woman, she was showing all these lakes. and all these lakes, and she was really upset. She was distraught. And all of them have like a, you know, when a duck bends its head down and its tail sticks up. And so the whole lake, everywhere, with all the all white ducks, and all with their butts sticking up and their heads down in the frozen lake. All of them. And it was like, did the wind start? So they put their heads down and then instantly they were frozen. And so that is in Oklahoma. And when she was showing it, the lake was still frozen and they were all there. So while she was showing it, I was like, with the whole thing with the cryogenics and stuff. So would these ducks just unthaw and come back to life if they thaw out like slowly, or do they have to be resuscitated? Like, you know, this is weird. And you know, I know about like people who have been frozen. It's like the same thing as if you, especially you can be resuscitated if you are in a lake and frozen, because it's something with the water and the frozen temperature or something. And so they've resuscitated people who, you know, seem to be dead, which makes me also wonder if flash frozen would hold your consciousness in place. Because also over there in the Antarctica where they were finding those ships, and I heard that there was some flash frozen situation there, that things were unthawing and coming back to life. So I don't know about that. And then with the buffalo thing, so I've seen a bunch of people talking about that today or this morning, and it's so bad. And I heard people saying they wanted a national disaster thing with help, and then other people saying that they already have it. So I don't know, but the people there, like, nobody can go and help them, which the same thing starts in Ohio on January 1st, where there's no EMS, like it's just a free-for-all. And in Buffalo, people are already looting and breaking things and all of that kind of stuff. Oh, one of the things, too, I'll just do this real quick, too, is a woman who was talking about her daughter goes to college in LA, and her daughter just called her, and her daughter had a couple blocks to walk over to a store. And when she did, a guy came and held a gun to her head, and she took off running and ran into the store, and the guy's chasing her. And, you know, like, people, you've got to leave the cities. She's just like, you know, her 21-year-old daughter is in this war zone in LA, and it's like, it's going to get worse. I don't know how to get people, well, nobody can even hear me, so, you know, but to get people to understand, like, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Like, man, it's going to get worse. And so this, especially in the cities, Ohio is about to, I'm sure, no telling, like Chicago has been, Philly, all these places have been, you know, horrible all throughout this, like the crime and the murder and like unsafe. And so many of these places, like you can't even go in the grocery store, you'll get kidnapped. Like, it's mental. And then they send these instigators to these places. That's what it was. It was something, it was something where I was like, oh yeah, that's it right there. The instigators, you know, they're going to have them everywhere. Every place that there's any problems, they're going to put their instigators. I heard somebody talking about they can't fit any of the American citizens in any of the shelters because they have too many immigrants that have taken up all the shelters. So all the American citizens are outside frozen to death. And you know, and at the same time, they're sending all this money over, you know, and it's so disgusting and it's so absurd and it's so ridiculous. But there's still people who question it, and there's still people who don't even think a goddamn thing about it. But, you know, there's a lot of people who are just like, why? It's like, because they're showing themselves. They're being revealed. This is the big reveal. And, but this was so tripping me out with the buffalo thing. Because, these people were all like, you know, this is bad. You guys don't even realize how bad this is. Like, there is dead people everywhere. There's just people standing on corners frozen. They're frozen in their cars all over the place. Ambulances and people's houses burned down. And nobody, fire trucks, and nothing can get to the roads. They're not even trying to do the roads. It looks like Krampus. I'm not even kidding you. When I see some of the footage of some of these places, it totally looks like Krampus. And I don't know, you know, when I was watching this, I've watched a couple of old movies recently that I was like, man, I don't really remember about this. And Girl Gone. See, I watched Gone, Girl Gone, and Gone, Baby Gone, or something. I don't know. All these ones that I remember being really popular. And this one, and it is Ben Affleck as a director, and Casey Affleck, which I really used to like him. And then, you know, just some of these people just give in to the pervy nature of this beast. But so they're like Bostonians or something. And just the way that people treated each other and stuff. And, you know, like I said, even back when the immigrants very first started coming into some of those places, they became really divided. Like the Italians hate the Jews, hate the Irish. You know, they became very hateful towards each other. And I think that is kind of an energy that has persisted. You know, they've had a lot more people come in from all different places, but there's a general air of just hatefulness. And I was like, I wonder, after I saw that, I was like, I wonder if that's why some of the East Coast is being hit so hard right now, is that general energy of hatefulness and how much, you know, brings people together when you're in a disaster. You know, you're not going to sit there and somebody's coming to dig you out. You're not going to say, wait a minute, are you Jewish? Go home. You know, people come together in love and unity and tragedy. So, but I just, you know, some of the, but I know we're not done being hit. Like, I'm not going to even kid myself for a fucking second. I got to go out this morning and go get my windshield put in. And it's been raining nonstop. And even yesterday when I went to go get water, which was a holy hell challenge, it was pouring. My windshield is a giant hole. And I tried putting plastic wrap and stuff. And so you had to use the windshield. Oh, man, it was just, it was hard. But I was like, I have to get this done. And I did get a lot of food. And I got 4 whole things of water. And whatever size those are, you know, like the ones in an office. I don't know if they're 10 gallons or what, but now I'm going to have another person here. So, I'm going to have, so I've got water and food. And I'm going to run and do that stuff. But I was like, man, the river was already up to the road. So, and that's what they did with the last flood, is washed out roads. And, you know, because they're always got to keep our, keep us limited in our being able to move around in our movements. And this, that was another thing, the guy who was talking about the winds and the rain over here, or was it the Alaska guy? I don't know. Something with some storm that is going to be hitting over here, that is going to possibly, because they were saying it was going to hit Seattle, Oregon, and Northern California, and whatever it was going to do. Man, what was that they were talking about? There were so many. Like, people are focusing on Yellowstone. Like, everybody knows, like, there's another disaster coming. But anyways, whatever they were saying it can, us over here, right where I'm at, what I've said this whole motherfucking time, is that we are in such an isolated place that they can really keep us trapped. And that is what this video was talking about. Whatever was going to hit into Seattle was going to make it to this whole area up to, you know, from Vancouver, BC, down to Seattle, that we were going to be locked in place, which is a lot of people. Because you have Everett's a big city, and you've got tons and tons of little cities the whole way. Like, it's a whole metropolis. You know, I mean, there's people who live out here by me who drive the 2 hours to get to Seattle to work. So, you know, it's the total metropolis connection. So there's a lot of population out here. I'm just happen to be rural, out more in the mountain area. But we do have such a limited way to move through this area. And it's very limited. And I could just see that coming. So I don't know, you know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not like, you know, I can go, well, you know, I'm just going to take off and go somewhere safe because, you know, it's going to follow me there if it's meant to be there. You know, what's meant to happen is going to happen. You can't run from, you know, and if it's not meant to happen, then you're going to be protected and nothing can hurt you. So even if the storm comes in and it's not the storm that's taking you out, then you're going to be fine. So I can't get caught up in my head, like running from the storm, running from, you know, because to me, things open up. Everything just opens up when you're supposed to go someplace. It will become obvious, you know, you don't have to force it. So, you know, I'm just going to stay where I'm at and, you know, just ride it out like the rest of them and see what's going to go down. I mean, I would think they're going to be hitting hard over here because they got to keep us all in that devastation. You know, it's part of their takeover. I can't even believe how the money, I just can't even believe how every time it seems like it's about to go over. And then I fucking pull it back up on the ledge and then pretend like everything's fine. It's like, this is so fucking mental. And, but the thing that was getting me so much about the Buffalo thing was, why are they not taking these people into the hospital and trying to revive them? Why? I mean, if they can't even get the ambulances and stuff through. Okay, so the people are just standing there frozen. Just leave them. Just leave them frozen until they start to thaw out. Once everything starts thawing out, jolt their fucking hearts back. Like, I don't understand. And then it really creeped me out because, okay, like, if you have been pushing it on us, like, I seriously don't know what younger people know. Their perspective is so limited. But for those of us who, like, they pushed cryogenics on us for a long time. Like, wanting us to go in and freeze our bodies. Like, if you got something wrong, just go freeze yourself. And Disney, Walt did it. Like, I am positive he did just his head. Like, I'm sure he thinks his consciousness is there. They think his brain is so superior, perv brain, that they want to, you know, which we already have a giant artificial growing meat center. I'm so glad I don't eat meat. Like, the stuff I keep seeing about this stuff, like, I can't imagine, like, why would you want to eat lab-grown chicken? They're not growing chickens. They're growing just meat. Like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. Oh, I'm so grossed out by some of this stuff. Like, so gross. But so they've put in a whole giant big plant. Like, and who's going to go work there? Is it going to be all AI? Are people really going to go work there? Like, this is where people have to go. Like, what is the part you want to play in this system, in this weirdo sicko game? And, you know, you can go keep those businesses alive. It's so sickening. But, I don't get, like, why all those people should be able to be taken. And then, like, you know, if they really wanted to save people, you could take them all to a place and let them warm out, like a warming center, warm them up. And then as they started to unthaw, at least do shocks and stuff, you know, epinephrine, adrenaline, and try and get their hearts going back again. And because I'm really, it makes me think, like, because they're not doing any of that, like, are they taking these bodies to some place and then the consciousness is trapped in there? And their whole thing is just to make these little droid, you know, don't think for yourself. Just your energy to keep their world going, but don't think for yourself. And so, you know, like the woman who, her baby, people were saying that that's what she seemed like. You know, all the people who start just being like mindless robots. And so many people have talked about like family members and stuff who, and then they started doing like weird stuff. And it would all make a difference over what's inside of you. Because I just saw a commercial a bit ago, and it was for sickle cell. And I was like, see right there, it is an attack on a certain group. And look at how they're attacking, like through their blood. There's just, oh man, there's so much with this place and so much with this, this world with the, like, I totally would not at all be as that was part of their plan to take all of those frozen people someplace and do experiments to try and see if their consciousness is still in there, or to try and reanimate them and use them, or to just, you know, cut them out, just the whole thing. And, you know, and then people think like, well, I got my family member, you know, and, well, they push things, certain things like cremation or gelling or composting. So then you go, okay, well, I guess I'm going to compost Grandpa because I've got to do something good for the planet. And they said that's the best thing. And it's so cheap. And so, you know, you don't know for sure if Grandpa's going out over the crops. How do you know? You're not there through the whole process. Like, it could be anybody going out there. Like, anybody and anything. It could have been who they sacrificed a month ago. You know, that's what they want to do, is just cover up, you know, they need a disposal, you know, situation. So, but even with the cremator, you know, again, there would definitely be certain people who would be handling this mass, you know, mass casualty situation. We had to open up this place, you know, we got the FEMA over here. They're taking care of it. Don't mind all these hearses and ambulances taking away these people. They're going to different places, mortuaries and stuff. Like, how do we know? How do we know where they're going? Because it totally makes sense to me. And I'm really makes me curious about the consciousness, if it stays in there. And then if you woke them up and you could tell them whatever. I've seen that in so many movies. And I was watching this movie, and this woman, she looked exactly like Uma Thurman. Like, there's no fucking way. How many of these people are fucking clones of other people? Like, man, it's weird. There's so much weird stuff. Like, that is the stuff that is just, there's so much with the science that, you know, that people want to get all, you know, hunker down on the rabbit holes and stuff. It's all the science. That's the whole thing you need to know about. That we're a science lab. And it's a free-for-all. They do what they want. But, you know, I mean, they know on a spiritual side that every soul that comes in here came in for this. That's the weirdo thing with how it's such a sickening place, and so many sickening things happen, but so many people come in to experience it. And see right there, there's my judgment. Like, this is sickening, that's sickening. Like, it is hard. Like, to me, like, I don't understand chopping up your husband and putting him in a suitcase instead of divorcing him. Or just leaving him. Just run away. I mean, he already had a girlfriend. He'd probably be excited. Like, it's the vindictiveness. It's the hatefulness. It's the, you know, and it comes from everyone with their own pain and suffering, but they carry this shit from life to life. People come in and play this shit out with the same people. Like, you do evil shit back and forth to each other. My one daughter, she's been having so many really cool, like, epiphany things, and I'm just, like, so excited for her to, you know, like, it is, once you open up a certain part, you just start getting bombarded, and you start seeing things so much different. And it's really cool is because, you know, the two middle daughters, the ones who are talking so much more about the spiritual stuff, they, you know, they were very 3D. Oh, my one daughter, I mean, I'm sure they still are both all about climate change. They all are about the planet and helping the planet. And, you know, they stopped eating meat a long time ago when they were showing the corporate farms and stuff. So they're just compassionate people, but they were very science-minded. They didn't have any spiritual side to them. And so to watch this transformation of this whole spiritual side of them opening up and them listening to their guidance and seeing things in a more profound way is super exciting. So it makes me feel really good. So now I've been talking. So it was something else that, oh man, I don't know. It was something that I had wanted to say. It seems like to me that a lot of the videos I saw this morning was a lot of commercial ones. Like, I'm so sick of commercials. Quit trying to sell me your shit. And commercials, and then disaster ones. It wasn't, I'm trying to think if it was still kind of that energy of just all this arguing and arguing. It seems kind of like an energy of like some smugness. Like some people just really smug about stuff. And that's ego. So that's still ego work. And somebody was talking about, you know, this world just created a bunch of narcissistic, you know, it did create a bunch of narcissistic, toxic people, you know, and they do have a lot to still clean up in their own business. So, yeah, the smugginess, that's still ego work. So, and the pointing fingers back and forth, that's your fault, no, it's your fault, no, it's your fault. Like, that's all ego. So, like, there's still so much work to be done. There's still so much. But there's a lot of people, you know, like have family members that are in certain weather things and stuff. So, oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So yesterday when I went to the post office, then, and so it's wacky here. We haven't had any, because the weather's been so bad, so we haven't had any deliveries or anything like that. The mail, the post office has been closed and stuff. And so they opened back up, and it was just chaos. Oh, and they were so mad. And these are not guys who like to work hard. And they were so mad. You know, because it's very chaotic. They've got so much stuff. And so much stuff to try and organize and get stuff they couldn't get out the other day. You know, they just had a big mess. So there's tons of people up there picking up their packages. And I was sending my Ziggy's blanket and stuff. So I was going up there to mail something, and it's right next to the water, and so I wanted to do it while I was up there. And then so it was a kind of a crowd in the thing, and this guy comes in, and all these people all like recognize each other and talking and stuff like that. And this so this woman starts asking this guy, like, how you doing? And he goes, well, my daughter's just got out of the hospital, and she was at the children's hospital, and she went up to the mall, and but the mall, you know, she got a drink, and then somebody laced her drink with the fentanyl and the cocaine, and she just was in the hospital, and luckily she got out. I was in a mall in Bellingham. That is small. Like, so they're out there everywhere they can. Like, I mean, you can't, it is so unsafe to go out. And some people are going to find out how unsafe it is by, you know, the trauma. And then, you know, to me, I just, you know, my guides. And then I've seen other people also, you know, their guides tell them, hey, stay home, it's not safe. You need to stay home. You know, think about this, think about that, maybe get this done, get that done, clean out your closet. Like, man, I've gotten stuff so organized and cleaned up, and, you know, you feel good about that stuff. And then you go on and see, like, you know, somebody's dying here, all this tragedy, and people just going out and trying to live their normal lives. It's like, you can't go out and live your normal life anymore. It's over. It's all done. That world, that existence is over. It's the remnants. We're in the remnants of it. And people want to keep patching it together and try and hold on to this old world. But it's gone. And the more people let go of it. Like, even this guy, I've seen a lot of his videos. He is one that is being gang stalked by the government because he was in the service. And he saw a lot of stuff and started speaking out about it. So they started gang stalking him, stealing all his money out of his, all sorts of shit. Like, he's like, and so he's really been struggling this past year. He keeps getting evicted. He's having so many problems. And he had done that garage sale, made $6,000, and then went to go pay his stuff, and then it took all his money out of his account. Like, he's got crazy shit all the time. And so he goes in and gets storage units, buys storage units, and then sells the stuff inside. And so this video was talking about these fake Rolexes. And he was just talking about his life, you know, and how hard it had been this year. And if those Rolexes, if he just would have gotten that money, if they weren't fake, if he just could have got that money, he could have got $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. That's the whole problem right there, is when people are trying to shift, like, how do I make this work? How do I fix this? They go right back in. How do I get money? How do I get money? You've got to start thinking outside the box. How do I make it without their money? How do I make it without? And we're in a flux of transition, so it's difficult. It's not like you can just suddenly say, well, you know, I'm not going to pay my house payment anymore. And I did do that in 2020 because I thought things were going to go way faster. So I'm saying now, it's not going as fast as we thought. So you got to be careful about this stuff. And so you go, well, I'm just going to stop paying, and, you know, you could lose all your stuff because the government is still out there trying to keep itself alive. So it's taking everything it can from all of us. And so, you know, it's all about timing. So, but the thing is opening your mind, shifting your perspective. Don't be just thinking, oh, how can I get more money? How can I get more money? Think, how can I get more independent? How can I find freedom in this world? How can I become independent so I don't need a job, a contemporary, you know, living situation? I can live in a more, you know, comprehensive, like more open kind of way. It doesn't have to be so restricted and confined to where their norms. Like, even on movies and stuff, like, when you start really understanding about the programming and shit, like, how in movies, how it is, like, they are, it's like a training center. Like, oh, this magical moment, you know, and people go and try and create those magical moments in their own lives. Like, everybody's at all different levels, you know. It's all different levels. There's people, you know, like me, who see through all of the bullshit. And then there's people who are the polar opposite, who are completely, you know, enjoy it, dependent, just, you know, want to fit in and be a part of this world, and not realizing so many things. I don't know. I mean, we've still got a ways to go on most of this, you know. And there's, the disasters are just going to keep getting people, you know, primed up, but, you know, it's like they have to go through the disaster, which is horrible. And then you have, you know, all of the crises, like so many people's pipes busted, and they've got floods, and, you know, who knows how many of them, you know, have ice flooded in their houses, you know, because it froze. I don't even know all of this shit. Like, there's one disaster problem after another. So you have all of those things. And then you got to try and go, just like, you know, Frank did, and go to the insurance company. And then they're like, oh, well, that's an act of God. You know, and that's just what I was saying yesterday, too. Like, it's just a money funneling system of their thing to get us to pay in to their system, but it never gives anything back. I've got this big old giant puffy sweater on. Like, I want to be warm when I go into town, because I got to sit there for however long. So I got to drive. The driving there will be the sucky part, because the whole time, I got to remember to wear my glasses this time, because the whole time I kept being like, oh, this glass is going to fall and shoot into my eyeballs. And so, luckily, that didn't happen. I kept thinking, don't think about it, don't think about it. And, but I had forgotten to take any glasses. I had sunglasses, but it was way too dark. And so, getting there will be the worst part. Then once I get there, and then I have to sit there for however long and then drive back, I'll just be so glad, because then it's like, okay, I don't have to do anything, but then I've still got to be going back to the airport or to, and there keeps being tons of plane problems and crashes and stuff, I guess. So, like, it's very dangerous to fly. Like I said, do the bus. And, you know, but there's just so much going on. And if it is, you know, the cataclysm that is headed is that Narubu coming through and hitting onto us. So what this one thing was, so as that's coming in, that is what is creating all of this magnetosphere or whatever, the magnetic problems that are here, is making planes drop out of the sky and stuff like that, and the storms. So it was saying that that is what's creating all of these horrible storms. And so you know, I know there's a cataclysm coming, and you know, I don't know when or what, but I know, you know, nothing can kill us. And then I know also that you know, all of this is to benefit humanity, to move us into a better place. So, you know, I don't know. I know people who believe that they can die will die. People who believe that, you know, it's all based on what you believe. So I don't know how it's all going to play out. I still think that something is going to happen. It's going to turn the energy the other direction. It's going to be mass amount of awakening, and then it's going to go into tons of healing, which, you know, it's already doing little by little with the people going through all of these different tragedies and stuff. And it wakes them up, and they start, you know, it's those come to Jesus moments. Is, you know, when all is lost, you know, what do you have to go to? You know, it's yourself, it's your God, it's, you know, it's who's in control. So, anyways, you know, I just think that there's something suspicious. You know, I just find it creepy that I just think that there's all those frozen people, could be unfrozen. I don't know, just really is creeping me out. Like, could they be trapped in there? Like how consciousness, when someone's in a coma, how people have said they're just in there, just living a life, you know. So, I mean, they would be doing that too, I would imagine. But I don't know. I don't know. Because did they really die? Or did they? I don't know. This is just weird. Like, it really weirds me out. Especially, you know, why? Why wouldn't they be trying to revive people? Just doesn't make any sense. There's just, doesn't make any sense unless there's, you know, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to keep seeing. I don't know. Maybe they're going to put them all in a warehouse and then sometime they'll be brought back. I don't know. I just am so weirded out by so many things. It's just, I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk to you later, and, you know, just keep staying safe. I mean, until things turn, we're just going to continue being, you know, assaulted. And then how much of it, yeah, is the magnet and the earth and the elementals and all of it. Like, there's just so much stuff going on. So, you know, my thing is, the poisons. I'm sick to fucking death of the poisons. I'm sick of seeing people getting sick and feeling sick and being sick and then thinking it's sickness. And, you know, sick of because I know, you know, there could be earthquakes and volcanoes and shit that are coming from that, but this nonstop raining chemicals on us, that's the government's, you know, gift to murder. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.